Now, we promised to get you legends of the game, VVS Laxman and Michael Clarke on the show. And here are the greats in conversation with sports editor Vikrant Gupta.
It's the India versus Australia series, the mother of all battles now. Whereas it used to be India-Pakistan, the world waits for India versus Australia. And the India versus Australia series is going to be very exciting, considering the fact that you've got 5 one-dayers, you've got 3 T20s, and we've got 2 very, very special guests here. We've got Michael Clarke, former World Cup winning Australian captain. We've got VVS Laxman, who you would have lost the count of matches that he would have won for India against Australia. And I'll begin with you, Michael. This series, it's an opportunity for India. It's also an opportunity for Australia because they're coming from Bangladesh. They lost a test match there as well.
Yeah, look, our form hasn't been fantastic over the past 12 months. Mainly in Test cricket, to be honest. The one-day format has always been Australia's greatest strength, in my opinion, especially travelling away from home. Winning the World Cup in 2015, this Australian team is now trying to build a squad or a team that can go to the next World Cup. So, you know, they'll be looking to not only play well and win this series, but then take momentum into the Australian summer where we go home and play against England. So this series is very important for this Australian team.
It's like a mini World Cup, VVS. You've got 8 games, the T20s and the one-dayers bunched together, and you've got the 2 top teams in the world.
Absolutely, and I think the kind of form India is, really impressed with the way they played against Sri Lanka. Even though it's an inexperienced Sri Lankan side, what really impressed me was their ruthless attitude, and they were not complacent even till the last T20 match. I thought that, they try to improve on their own game. And the second thing which was very impressive were the youngsters who got an opportunity, especially in the bowling department, won the games, not only performed well, but won the games for India. And that augurs really well. And that's a compliment to the BCCI and the structure of first-class cricket we have in our country, because there's so much of potential. The bench strength is strong. And any team, Michael will vouch for that, any team which has got a strong bench strength will always do well. But against Australia, it's always going to be a fierce battle. We saw even in the last year, where they were test series against New Zealand, England, Bangladesh and Australia. The Australian series was the most competitive, and till the end, until last Dharamshala test match, we didn't take it for granted that India is going to win the test series, and that speaks high volumes of the competitive nature of the Australians. It's going to be no different this time. Australia little depleted, especially in their bowling department, but I'm sure that batting would like to compromise or compensate for that.
Well, the Sri Lanka series, VVS, obviously was an opportunity for India to see if the boxes could be ticked. Are you happy with the performances of the players who were given chances to throw in their names in the reckoning?
Absolutely, especially in the spin department. Akshar Patel, 2 young wrist spinners in Chahal and Kuldeep did really well. They won matches for Team India. Manish Pandey continued with his good form, which he had against the South Africa A side, using the opportunity and grabbing the opportunity. But I think this is a great opportunity for the youngsters to do well against a formidable batting lineup Australians have. We all know what Steve Smith can do, probably one of the best players in world cricket along with Virat Kohli. You got David Warner, who's in sensational form. There's depth in the Australian batting lineup. Maxwell is there, there's Finch there are all-rounders in Stoinis and Faulkner. So I think that's what the selectors would be thinking, is we've seen these 3 young spinners do well against the inexperienced Sri Lankan batting lineup. What can these youngsters do against a formidable batting lineup in Australia? So I think it's a great opportunity for these youngsters. But I have a feeling that especially because of IPL, these youngsters are not overawed when they're playing against the big teams like Australia, because every match in the IPL they're playing against some of the best names in world cricket. So I think that's why they're not overawed, and that's why they settle down very easily into international cricket.
And the IPL also works for Australia, isn't it? The players are used to these conditions. I mean, in your time, if you would come to India every 4 years or 3 years or 5 years, you would need time to get used to the conditions. But these players know the conditions. They might as well know the languages now.
Yeah, well, I think certainly in the 2 shortest formats, in ODI cricket and T20 cricket, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get very good wickets, good fast outfields. As a batsman,
smaller boundaries.
You don't want to miss this tour. As a bowler, Stark and Hazelwood may be a smart decision, but as a batsman, you want to be here. There's lots of runs, and we've seen that in the past.
India has definite advantage.
The batting has always been the strength of the Indians, but I think the bowling has also really come off. And it's great to see 4 quality bowlers, Umesh and Shami, back in the team.
Both of them are back. Yeah.
Both of them back, and then three inexperienced bowlers, but impact bowlers. So I think India will definitely rely on the top 3 batsmen. And whenever Rohit Sharma, Shikhar or Virat Kohli gets a big score, India invariably is in a comfortable position, and that's always been the formula for India. But one position which I will be really looking forward is the finishers role, because while the top 3 lay the foundation, how they finish the innings is very important. That's why someone like Hardik Pandya is really sensational. In the limited opportunities he's got, is improving with each and every opportunity, and is a great striker of the cricket ball, just like the way MS Dhoni, Yuvraj and Suresh Raina have been for India for so many years. So that's one role which I'm keenly following.
It is apparent now that Dhoni will take number 5. And
should be.
He dn't throw away his wicket even once in Sri Lanka,
which was brilliant to see. And really impressed with the way MS Dhoni has lost a lot of weight. He's always been very naturally fit, but is going to the gym regularly, which was not the phenomenon when I was with MS Dhoni. There's a lot of technical changes.
Age catches up certain things
with all of us,
which is good. To keep that in mind,
exactly.
And to adapt has always been MS Dhoni's strength. You see even in his batting against the quick bowlers, there's some technical changes. He's shuffling a lot more, and see, under pressure, no one better than MS Dhoni. And he's a great asset to the team, especially to young captain in Virat Kohli. We always forget that Virat Kohli is still a young captain,
yes.
And he's work in progress. So someone like MS Dhoni will be a great asset to Virat Kohli on the field, and he's like a mentor to these players. So really pleased with the way MS Dhoni performed in Sri Lanka.
Champions Trophy, Michael, we were there. How would you look at Virat's captaincy? I mean, as VVS said, he's been a test captain for a long time now, but he's been a fairly new one-day captain.
Yeah, look, I think over time you continue to learn more about yourself and your team as a captain, and that does take a couple of years, but I think the one thing Virat has been consistent with is leading from the front with the bat, and I think that's the easiest way to earn respect from your teammates and from the outside world. If you're making sure you're scoring runs and the leadership isn't affecting your performance, I think that's a great start, and Virat's numbers, certainly in ODI cricket, are phenomenal. So I'd imagine this series will be no different. He'll want to make sure India beats Australia, and the easiest way for him to do that is make sure he's scoring plenty of runs. But I think he's aggressive. I've said in the past, I like his captaincy style. I think he's probably got a team now that is really following his leadership style. So there's a number of players that have been looking for that aggressive approach, and they've, now Virat, their captain's doing it, they feel comfortable doing it as well. So, and again, I agree with VVS. I think the experience of MS Dhoni certainly shouldn't be underestimated. I think not only in regards to helping Virat and the rest of the team, but you talk about Hardik Pandya, he gets to sit right beside MS Dhoni on a daily basis and watch probably the greatest finisher of all time go about his work. If you can't learn from that, you'll never learn. So, there's a lot of talk when you get to a certain age, it's time to move on. I believe the best teams in the world have a good balance of youth and experience, and I think this Indian team is seeing the benefit of having MS Dhoni around.
I always believe that age is just a number. I mean, the three of us can actually vouch for it. Steve Smith said the other day that the key for the Australians would be to keep Virat Kohli quiet, both literally and I think in terms of sledging as well.
I think Virat Kohli would have learned from what went wrong against Australia, because last winter was fantastic for Virat Kohli, except the Australian Test series. And I have followed Virat's career right from his debut. And whenever he doesn't have a good series against a particular opponent, then he will be waiting for the next series. And I believe that this is going to be a big series for Virat Kohli, both as a captain and with the bat. And Steve Smith knows that every player in world cricket, whoever follows the game, knows that Virat Kohli's wicket is very, very important. And Virat Kohli also knows that, and he'll make it count. He'll make it count, and he'll make sure that he will not give away or succumb to probably the pressure which the Australians will be going to put on Virat Kohli. On the field, they're going to go hard at him. There's no doubt about that. But I'm sure that Virat Kohli will bounce back strongly, both with a bat and also with his actions.
And also, this one-day series could also be an extension of the Test series that you had. Where you had gamesmanship, you had aggression on the field and both off the field. We speak about Dhoni, but then there's a Shikhar Dhawan who scored runs against Australia. There's Rohit Sharma, whose career average against Australia is much, much better than most of the players.
Well, I think, in my opinion, Rohit Sharma is as talented a player as I've ever seen. You know, he is phenomenal. Commentating throughout the IPL, I couldn't believe he wasn't opening the batting. And I think I said it every single time I was on air, because he's a superstar, in my opinion. So why not allow him to face as mmany balls as possible? Shikhar Dhawan's been a wonderful player as well. So, as VVS mentioned, the top three for India is the key for Australia, and that's where I say the Aussies have to be very aggressive and look to take those 3 wickets early in the first 10 overs, in my opinion. Get stuck into the middle order, utilise their spin. I think, you know, Zampa's here, Ashton Agar, you got Maxwell, you got some options there to be able to bowl spin if the wickets are conducive. But the key for me is that first 10 overs for Australia, Steve Smith and his attack needs to be very aggressive.
India's 4 and 6, I mean 5, obviously Dhoni will take it. Is that settled now, VVS, with Manish Pandey scoring runs and KL Rahul failing, or would you still go in with KL Rahul to begin with?
I will go with Manish Pandey and Kedar Jadhav. You know,
4 and 6.
Yeah, because no limited opportunities they've got, they've done well. But there's a call which the selectors and the team management will take. But the important thing is to try out each and every individual. You know, it's just not going with the set mindset. You have to be flexible. You know, and I think all the strong teams are very flexible with their batting order. If that means that you promote Hardik Pandya if the situation arises. But I will be looking forward to Manish Pandey and Kedar Jadhav having a big series. You know, because both of them are talented and both of them can win matches on their own. You know, Kedar Jadhav, one of the best one-day knock I've seen against England at Pune, but equally important was that knock against England in Kolkata, even though he didn't win the match there. So I think he's got talent, he's got the potential to be a match winner, and I think India it will be happy if they invest in these two youngsters and reap the benefits.
Your scoreline, VVS, you've got 5 one-days and 3 T20s?
I wouldn't, you know, I have a scoreline for T20s. I can tell that after the one-day series, because in T20, one exceptional performance with the bat or ball can turn the match around. But in the one-day series, I would go 4-1. The only reason is that...
To Australia, thanks, buddy.
To India, as always. To India. The reason is Australian, while they've got depth in their batting lineup, you know, I think their bowling is depleted, especially with Mitchell Stark and Hazelwood not being there. So 4-1 to India.
Will you take one victory in the series?
No, I'll take 3-2 in the one-day series to Australia. So Australia will win the one-day series. And then I'll take 1-1 in the T20s. I think there'll be a washout.
Oh, okay. He's become...
I've got more confidence as the days go on.
He spends in India.
Yeah, he knows the weather in India now.
Is there a game in Calcutta, a T20 in Calcutta?
There's a one-day.
Okay.
It's a one-day game. So it'll ruin both your numbers if it gets rained off in Calcutta. Because that's a one-day game.
I know. I need no rain for the ODIs. I need 3-2 to Australia, and then I'll take one game washout in the T20s.
Michael Clarke says 3-2 for Australia. VVS, as usual, would say 4-1 for India. But it's going to be an exciting series, and we've got special guests lined up throughout the season for you on India Today. Thanks for watching.